Okay, I'd like to call to order the Ramsey-Washington Metro Watershed District December board meeting. First order of business, the approval of the agenda. Before we get there, I'd like to propose that we move item 3C3 down to 5A2 and remove that from the consent agenda for a separate discussion. What I'll ask for is an approval of the agenda as amended. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Wonderful. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Abstain say abstain. Moving forward to the consent agenda. Remember, these are to get approved for one motion. We do have time for discussion after the motion. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Seconded.
Wonderful discussion. I do have a couple of questions. I noticed that when I was looking at the permits, there's additional information. There's a pretty long line list of information requested about the incinerator project. I'm just trying to get my arms around it.
The special provisions?
Yeah, there's just a ton of them. More than I've seen previously. Just help me understand how to think about that, Ashley, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so the special provisions for this project look like it's a long list, but they're all fairly straightforward and simple. I think we just got in the nitty-gritty details of like looking at the erosion control plan set and calling out like individual items, which are fairly straightforward for the applicant to add, but they all just kind of have their own line item. So that kind of took up B. Part 1, Section B, erosion control additions, that kind of is a bigger chunk. All the other comments are pretty standard special provisions that we see a lot of times get addressed after the board meeting.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Other discussions or questions about the consent agenda? Okay. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All abstain say abstain.
Did we get a move? Did somebody move it? Okay.
I believe Ben moved it. I believe it was Stephanie seconded it. Oh no. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Sorry.
And I just wanted to comment that our visitors here are from the wastewater treatment plant project. So if you had any questions for them, otherwise, yeah.
Oh, the motion.
I think it was approved.
Approved.
Y'all welcome to stay. It's lively conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, moving forward to item number 4, visitor comments. There are quite a few visitors, but I assume
There's one on there that popped on
Heron.
the last one, JFAH Baron Krog.
I think they're also Excel.
Okay. Are you with Excel as well?
Yeah, Jake Farncrum representing Excel. Yes.
Great.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody is either staff or permit.
Okay, moving to item number 5, regulatory programs. 5A, let's go with the 2535 Excel line.
You want to start with that and then do the badness one afterwards? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2535 is Pig's Eye XL line rebuild. We have 2 folks here from the project. They can also field any questions that may come up, but this is a line rebuild near Pig's Eye Lake, so in the very southern portion of our district in St. Paul. It's a smaller disturbance threshold. It's only about a ½ acre, but it did trigger our permit due to our flood control rule. So they don't trigger wetlands or stormwater management due to the disturbance size, but they weren't able to sufficiently meet compensatory storage due to the nature and location of the project. So they did provide some from removing structures, but largely the project is using floatable mats to prevent soil disturbance. And so they're not really able to provide that compensatory storage. So they've attached a variance request requesting to have a variance from Rule D, noting that they're in the ineffective area of the floodplain of the Mississippi River, and that the impact is small enough to not have a noticeable change in the floodplain storage provided. There's also some applicable WACA approvals for this project. This is in St. Paul, where they're the WACA LGU. So they did approve a WACA application for this project.
May I ask a question out of curiosity? Does this project overlap with the Pig Eyes dump?
This is not, it kind of goes along the border of Pig's Eye, but it's not in Pig's Eye necessarily. So it's actually connecting like, I don't know the fancy Excel term, but a power source from the wastewater treatment plant down towards Newport.
So it doesn't hit the dump
So it doesn't
area?
intersect like the dump.
So in their memo, there is an additional, there's a statements for those following the back. Sorry. Page 71, there's this paragraph that says something like 25,000 cubic feet of grading cut and fill may occur within a 100-year floodplain. Could you help me understand how that might relate to the 0.004%?
Yeah, I could let the visitors comment on that, but that 25,000 cubic feet is grading activity that's happening, that they're not proposing any cut nor fill. It's just kind of grading activity, so everything will result in the same amount of material without bringing any or taking any away.
Okay.
The other cut fill numbers are installation and removal of structures holding those power lines.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Generally, when we say no net impacts, you look at the small percentage. Quantitatively, that's a fairly small percentage. Was there modeling effort that was done to verify that there was no problem with that 100-year floodplain surrounding the project?
Yeah, so for this area of the district, we allow applicants to use the FEMA modeling, showing that they're in the ineffective area of the district, because we don't have modeling for this area, but we rely on FEMA's modeling to show what's the effective and ineffective part of the Mississippi River floodplain. So they're able to use that modeling to justify their language here in the variance.
Yeah, the reason is because it is part of the river model, not part of our
Oh, okay.
stormwater model.
Okay, so to make sure that I'm going to the right conclusion, they have done the modeling that shows that this will have negligible.
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah.
I have one, oh, go ahead. Very simple question. You mentioned earlier, Mary, about they're going to use floating mats. I'm curious, is construction planned for frozen or non-frozen conditions?
Frozen, I should have mentioned that as well. They're using the mat as well as anticipating to do it this winter when it's frozen to limit ground disturbance. Yeah.
Thanks.
Mhm.
From the description, it sounds like the majority of the fill is structural due to foundations and things. So
Mhm.
why couldn't those be designed as no net fill with material being trucked out?
Might pass that to Erica. You guys have reasoning for why you can't provide compensatory storage with the structures being installed?
Erica, if it's okay, I think I have this answer. This is Jake Fahrenker with ERM representing Excel. The reason for the additional fill is because essentially we have to make a pillar coming up from the current water surface higher to account for things such as like debris or other obstructions or other things from striking the poles or having things of that nature. So it's really creating a concrete pillar to safely hold the poles in the air is why. And that cylinder that, if you will, that cylinder that goes up in the air is what we're accounting for, is that small amount of fill that's within that floodplain.
Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Good questions. Mary, I realize I've been calling you Ashley all night. You can correct me.
Oh.
When you answered, I was like, oh. That is my mistake. No, both one of the people. All right, do I have any further questions? Motion to approve permit 2535? Do I have a motion to approve permit 2535?
I'll offer a motion to approve 2535.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay, and all those abstain say abstain. Motion passes. 2535 passes. Thank you all from Excel.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Let's jump to permit 2534, Badness Snail Lake Regional Park.
Yeah, so 2534 is a trail rehabilitation project. It's been pulled from the consent agenda because the applicant is Ramsey County Parks and Rec. And so this project is specifically a trail around Wetland A and Shoreview. They're looking to rehabilitate the bituminous trail that has had some wear and tear from fluctuating water levels. So this is under an acre, so it does not trigger our wetland or stormwater management rules. The reason it's requiring a permit is due to the flood control. Rule D, they are sufficiently providing compensatory storage at the project. And then also there was a WACA no loss application associated with the project. So any temporary disturbance to remove trail that is within the wetland is going to be removed fully and then rehabilitated with native seed mix. So there'll actually be less bituminous trail in the wetlands going forward with this project. Yeah, so let me know if you have questions about this one.
Is wetland A the same in pond?
Yes. Yeah, so we have had collaboration with the natural resource team to make sure all their planting areas are duly mapped and avoided.
This area, I'm really excited about seeing some trail updates. I have no further questions. Okay. Do I have any other questions around? Can I have a motion to approve permit 2534?
No, second.
And one more call for discussion before we vote. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. All those abstain say abstain.
Abstain.
Permit 2534 passes. Congratulations to the park department.
Gotta get you guys a harder one.
Said you removed bituminous material from the park area before saying, got me.
Saying one of the more controversial.
Push the boundaries. I'm gonna put a walkway right across this lake. Okay, wait a minute here. All right, let's jump to the regulatory monthly memorandum.
Yeah, so this month format should look similar. We have our number of inspections and violations that occurred in November, a list of our trainings and meetings that we had in the permit team. You may have noticed Nicole is on the call. She's officially back from her leave starting this past Monday. Nicole.
Hey, everybody.
Super excited to have Nicole back. So it's been nice to catch up and fill her in on to what's going on in the permit team and out in the regulatory world. For program and project updates, we wanted to give a shout out to Taylor with Forest Lake Contracting. Overall, was just really great to work with, super thorough in his SWIP amendments, inspection log, really understanding the permit and like the importance of it. And it was very refreshing to work with him. And so we also gave him kudos to his management as well at his company, because I think we should highlight good examples like that as well. We have inspected a number of the Metro Transit Goldvine permanent BMPs. That was quite a feat that Kendra and I took on this fall. Got a lot of work done, but there's still work yet to do in the springtime when we can sufficiently observe drawdown and things like that. It was a pretty dry November, but we got a lot of the work done. And then it's a little shout out to the natural resource interns who all just wrapped up their internships just a little bit ago here this month, but took them out on some sites. We had actually a pretty eventful day, so I think it was a good learning experience for them to see.
Do you mind speaking to the Excel project back and forth? Because this is a company that is building a solution on the heights. Is that correct? Did I get that correct? It sounds like that whole landscape is just quite complicated, and we had some back and forth as you were, unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, so Excel, as a reminder, is its own private parcel within the Heights public project. So they have their own permit, they're their own entity on the site. They are installing a really complex geothermal heating and cooling system for their large service center building they're doing. So it actually involves 12 wells that all go down about 600 feet that will heat and cool this building. Each well has to be flushed to sufficiently work for a heating and cooling system. And this flushing process has been quite difficult because they have to discharge this water, and they're finding a lot of very, very fine sands from the limestone layer they're getting to. It's almost like baby powder is the fines they're working with, which are really hard to filter even with flocculant. So in this specific instance, we got there and I had caught them discharging milky water. It looks like white 2% milk, but it's from the fine limestone sediment layer. So it's like a sediment discharge. So it was reported, it was stopped. They cleaned it up with a vac truck actually, and then they implemented some rain for rent takes on their site where they have a chain of filtering flocculant being applied on site now before they can discharge on site. So it's a much more robust system. Mm-hmm.
My comment was going to be around, we've learned a lot with the Heights, and I'm curious, as new permits come in their own entities, are we doing any kind of, hey, this site's kind of challenging, here's some things to know. This seems special.
Yeah.
But I was going to use it as a platform to say maybe when the new permits come in, just highlight some of the challenges we have.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've kind of put an Excel and Habitat for Humanity have been kind of on this site for a while. They kind of get the gist now, but for certain new ones coming up, certainly noting like, hey, there's like a lot of regulatory oversight on here, and it's been on notice by MPCA and others. So
that would be great. I'm glad y'all are doing that. Cole, welcome back. You'd be very proud of your team.
I am. I can already tell everything went off without a hitch. So yeah, I'm glad to be back though, and happy to see you all virtually. I'll be making an in-person appearance at a future meeting.
You seem like you're sleeping well, which is good for you.
Oh, good. I'm glad I seem like I am.
Any further questions from Mary? Not Ashley. Moving forward to stewardship grant program, which I believe is Mary. I mean,
Yep, we got our budget status update. Nothing super crazy to note, other than we're still approving applications and there's still a little bit of funds left. Although a lot of that is reserved for technical services still. So I'll take any questions.
no questions. I'm just impressed how well y'all spent the budget.
If those funds don't get spent in this year, they roll forward. Is that the way it works?
Yes. Yeah, that's all considered in the carryover.
Yeah, that's just wanted to confirm. Unless you did spend it since the packet went out.
It's gone, a little bit's gone down, and we there's an additional consultant for the technical services fees that we expect to come in. So it'll be pretty close to zero left.
Actually, we were talking about maintenance earlier on. So a question with all of the new projects that were installed this year, what do you forecast the maintenance portion of the stewardship grant to do?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I don't know that I expect a really big increase. There's a lot of folks who have done a lot of the projects last year and this year were native habitat restoration, and those a lot of folks tend to either apply for the grant and then not use it, or the cost to maintain it is pretty small. So we're definitely seeing the bigger costs come from larger rain garden projects. And even then, a lot of the homeowners tend to tackle it themselves, more so than I would actually expect. But with how many we're pushing out last year and this year, and then I believe we've got one more targeted retrofit shoreline that'll be ending maintenance. So I do anticipate some extra maintenance grant requests coming from that. So
Thank you.
Any further questions for Ashley? Awesome. Let us move to 7A, board meeting dates. Pass it to you, Tina.
Yeah, I just put this table together. We don't have a lot of conflicts for next year with holiday schedules, but I did want to just point out that, you know, like the 4th of July week, it's July 1st, you know, of the 4th is that following weekend after the Wednesday. And then Labor Day is just a little different because it's so early that our late, I'm sorry, Labor Day is late, so our board meeting is actually for Labor Day, which is sometimes if people travel for Labor Day weekend, that might be a conflict. So, and this, nothing has to be set in stone. You know, if there is a conflict that comes up here, we can readjust and set a different date for the meeting. This is just helpful for both our permitting, regulatory scheduling, and our billing and invoicing. So we like to kind of get an idea. I do have just that one change then, which is again for the Minnesota Watersheds Conference, like this, similar to this year. So
With the change in open meeting laws, we can still take some of these remotely, correct?
yep, that's correct. Yep. So if you think for now this is good and there's no significant conflicts with the holidays or any other meetings, you know, it's just helpful to make sure we don't have more than 1 or 2 people that won't be able to make a meeting in person. But like Val was just saying, the open meeting law does allow you to take it remotely now and can vote as long as I have 1 board member here in person.
I don't have any questions or concerns. How about you?
They look good dates to me.
Do I have a motion to approve the board meeting schedule with the proposed changes?
I will move that we approve the proposed meeting dates.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All abstain, say abstain. Action passes. Coleman Lake Alum treatments.
Yes, so we did the bid opening for the Coleman Lake alum treatment a while ago. We just didn't open it in time to get it into the board packet last month, and since the treatment itself isn't going to happen in time, we decided we'd wait until this month. We sent this was publicly bid. We did reach out to certain contractors to make sure they knew of the advertisement. We did get just 1 bidder. However, this is a very known company we've worked with many times. The district has worked with them, and we had a pleasant surprise with the price. So we had estimated our opinion of cost was $345,000 because we've been seeing some really high unit prices on some of the chemicals. And if you recall, we're recommending a buffered treatment, so 2 different forms of alum to help mitigate the pH changes in the application based on the lab testing we did in advance of bidding the project. And one of the chemicals in particular in recent years has been really, really priced quite high. And in fact, it seems like in this past year, there's been some backlash to companies that do these buffer treatments to push them to drive their price down. And so we estimated based on the higher unit price, and we got a bid based on a lower one that is more in the historically reasonable range. So the bidder is Solitude. And the bid price is
$236.
$296.
Oh, it's down in the memo.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still up in the cover. Yeah. So yeah, $236, $296 and 70 cents. And so we are recommending awarding the project to Solitude. Any questions?
I had read that Bar has used them before. I didn't realize that the district has.
I think so. I guess I know Bar has. Maybe I'm conflating that.
Yeah, I don't know that we have in particular. I guess I'm not
I
positive.
mean, we only really have done.
Well, that's a good
Yeah, we
point,
have
since
study
we've only
and
done
late but.
Yeah, and that treatment was done by a company that
Like
has
7 years ago.
shifted. Yeah, they turned into a different company or were acquired.
Yeah, I did bring this up
That's true.
at our administrators meeting up at Minnesota Watersheds Conference, and Solitude is the one that's been doing all the work for all the watersheds for Alum. So, and they're similarly, they're only getting the one bid from them. So the market is,
All for it.
Can I ask when will communications go out to Coleman Lake? Because this is kind of like, they know it's the first of possibly 2 treatments.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. I don't recall what we said in terms of advance notice. We definitely have in our contract documents requirements around that. I guess I don't know off the top of my head what lead time we told them, but we could get back.
yeah, so they've been along with us every step of the way so far, so they're very aware, and I'm anticipating that page will give them notification of the bid award and draft schedule, I guess.
Mhm.
So, and then we'll be in touch as we get into implementation.
Yeah, but the contractor knows they are not to go out there and do that until there's been confirmation about it.
Yeah.
So, and then we anticipate that the treatment would be completed no later than June 1st. So this is a springtime thing. Depends on the temperature of the water in the lake.
Any further questions?
I'll touch on this one again when we get to board.
Great, thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the bids and award the Coleman In-Lake Alum Treatment Project to Solitude Lake Management LLC and direct staff to prepare and mail the notice of award, prepare the agreements, and review the award at the middle?
So moved.
Second.
Awesome. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All abstain, say abstain. Should I get that correct? You said you're gonna bring up the alum treatment of Coleman.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving to 2026 CIP maintenance, action item 7C.
Okay, so I believe that it was at the November meeting that you were walked through all the pond cleanouts and various elements of the CIP. So we were able to open bids in time for the board packet, and you see the price spread there in the memo. Once again, Fitzgerald Excavating came in as the lowest responsible bidder. Fitzgerald has done several of the last, I don't know how many, Dave Lassen could tell us. They're a frequent contractor for us. What's interesting this time is that things came in a little bit closer to our estimate, and the lowest 2 bids were a little tighter than we've typically seen, which actually I think is, it's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. So I think that was kind of nice to see.
I recognize the companies, but
Mhm.
US site work is surprising.
Yeah, and I don't have a lot of context for that. I don't have the unit prices in front of me, but
I know we've asked questions about the range of prices before, and there's not a lot you can glean from what they think about, but
yeah.
sometimes when I was looking at distributions for other things, the wider distribution sometimes simulates unknowns and risks, and that's double your engineering cost price.
Well, and Fitzgerald is very, very familiar with the distribution.
Well, that's why I was like, I trust the bid because I've worked with it quite often. But
and especially when they do be in.
Yeah, I think it's a little more comfortable to take a low bid when the second to lowest bid is not that different. It's
nice again, they're known companies.
Right.
In each of these before.
Yeah, and sometimes we see wide fluctuations in things like mobilization or disposal.
Gotcha.
So
it's hard to guess. It's just
maybe a bigger company with bigger overhead or whatever.
Yeah. Dave, I don't know if you want to add any color commentary.
No, nothing. I'm happy with the bid. I was happy, everything's good.
Yeah.
Questions or comments? Do I have a motion to accept the bids and award the 2026 CIP maintenance and repair project with 0 extra bids? Direct staff prepared, mail the notice of award, prepare the draft agreements, and review the required submittals.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Abstain, say abstain. CIP maintenance goes to Fitzgerald. Always good to partner with them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, moving on to item 7D. I assume, Tina, that's your.
Yes, so here I have the final 2026 budget and levy certification. The short story is it's the same budget that you approved in September. There was no significant changes in pricing, although, like, for instance, the Coleman was priced a little bit lower. I left it in the budget as is. In fact, that particular budget we're going to transfer from other sources, so we'll just transfer what we need for that project. But there were no significant changes either from engineering or from our staff on program areas from what you approved in September. So, and because a lot of times in September, you'll approve a budget that has a little bit of a levy increase, but let's say by December, in this case, you approved a 0% in September. So we kept it level into December. So
there was those 3M grants that we applied for. Do we have any indication on?
No, we won't know that until spring.
Okay. I just wanted to
I think it even just said it was very vague on when the response time would be on that.
And if my memory serves, that doesn't have any bearing on the numbers that we have currently.
No, because we anticipated not receiving,
Good.
and then if we receive, it's a bonus. Yeah.
It's a bonus. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's still on the budget table indicated those two potential transfers that we talked about are highlighted on there, as well as the watershed basin implementation funding, which we do already have allocated to that Fish Creek project. So.
What's nice about this process is we have multiple opportunities to review it over the course of time. I personally don't have any questions, but I'm very proud that we, out of other areas, are not ceasing levies this calendar year. Anybody else have questions or comments?
No, we've discussed it.
And
Nothing surprising.
with no changes, yeah.
I feel like the money is right here. So I have a motion to approve the proposed FY 2026 general fund and CIP budget and adopt resolution 25.
So moved.
Awesome. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Abstain, say abstain. The budget is complete. I will sign all the
Thank you.
paperwork.
Yeah.
Moving to the attorney report.
Lauren's here. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, I'm filling in tonight. Happily. Not much from me, which is always good news for everyone here. With a couple of the contracts being awarded, I will anticipate that there'll be some documents coming to our office for review to always make sure that the applicant, the contractor, is meeting all those requirements for the contracts. And then just kind of looking ahead at what will be coming down the line. The spring will be a year to put out bids for services. So starting in January, we'll publish in the newspaper a call for bids for engineering, legal, and accounting services. So that's kind of what's on our radar of things that are coming up for us. Those bids will then be before you in March. Yeah, so that's my update for tonight, and happy to take any questions if you have any.
Question? No? Got the hook. Got it easy.
Thank you.
Moving forward to board discussion topics. I'm going to prioritize yours, Stephanie, after you.
Yeah, so I had three that I wanted to bring up, and all three of them come out of attending the Watershed Conference. So I always find those as thought and provoking, both from the speakers and from the other attendees, and then from staff as well. So the first one, I'll just say because Coleman Lake came up, this thought came up actually on the first day of the conference during the our mandatory management plan discussion. And it actually was much better. And the comment itself came out of from Lewis Smith, and he was talking about the structure of the watershed districts and watershed management organizations, and actually he brought up a small example. He mentioned it and I'll share this email with you, where he had talked about within a watershed district, we have the ability to establish a water management district within ourselves, and specifically because of Coleman Lake, the example was that Rice Creek Watershed District had been approached by Bald Eagle Lake Association, who was interested, and that lake association was interested in doing an alum treatment. And so this all comes about because financing for Coleman, one of the reasons why I split it in two charges was to share the burden. But in this case, a Bald Eagle Lake Association was interested. They approached the watershed district, and this creation of this entity allowed Bald Eagle Lake Association to share the cost because they disproportionately, well, one, they were interested. Two, they disproportionately benefit from the alum treatment, and of course, the watershed district helped contribute to the payment. And so I bring this up because one, we have the budget. We are always looking to be financially fiscally responsible. And, is this an opportunity for us to even consider? So I'll share that. I'll send it to you, but this is all the installed statute that I didn't look up.
Came from Lewis, I'm sure.
Yeah.
May I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
In that discussion, did you guys talk about some of the pros and cons of setting that up, or is that something that we could talk about later? Is that your question?
Yeah, so definitely, I don't know specifically about pros and cons, but he does lay it out in his email that one of the definite drivers behind this was the interest that both Eagle and Lake Association
shared
had.
cost benefit.
Yeah.
Yes, and so this is something that is,
Right.
just another option. So
Yeah.
that was the first thought-provoking comment. The second one was actually at the end of the conference, so the first day and the last day. So I was paying attention. And on the last day, this was during the business meeting, and the speaker was head of Bowser Executive Director John Jeske. Yeah. And the one comment he said is, we have all of partnerships was a huge theme throughout the whole thing. And so he said, the legislative branch not only enables us to do our work, but also provides us sustenance, our finances. And so it's important to reconnect, to give them the one-liners, to connect with our legislators, with our cities, county commissioners, et cetera, to provide a story of what have we done for you lately. And so, and he said it didn't have to be long. A one photo. I mean, I look at Mary's photos of all the regulatory stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, those are really nice. They tell a story, and then just kind of to plant, kind of, we're still here. We do something valuable for your constituency. And so my question was, are there tools that the watershed district could provide us, not just us, but like, the CAC and to make that connection, because we have strong advocates in the House and in the state Senate on critical boards, and then just, because I was using my Google, typing in the note, what key watershed district,
Mhm.
2024-2025 projects benefited Washington County,
Mhm.
Minnesota. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I can do this, but
Mhm.
the information was not all correct.
Yeah, I think
It would be lovely, I think, when it was just a thought that came out of that.
I am. So in our administrators training on Wednesday, we had a discussion with our government relations group for Minnesota watersheds, and we talked exactly about that and how to kind of build those connections over time, and then how to call on them when needed.
Yes.
And so, yes, that is something that's on my list of to-dos as we head into this next session, with a lot of caveats about it being an election year and a year where they're not doing much in the session and all those things. But he definitely said, well, and he said also with your county commissioners, because they're often a good road to the legislative. They're usually friends or have, connections to that. So we did have that discussion at the staff level as well. And I think that's a really good comment about how we can share information with you that you can then share with your.
As somebody who's aiming to get elected, you'd think I'd want to have in my back pocket, I support the watershed and all these things.
Yes. Well, and that's what I said, when they're all knocking on doors, I mean, that's a perfect opportunity for our supporters, our backers, to be having those discussions with them as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I came across this, the Met Council commissioner, no idea who he was, but saw he was in Shoreview. So I said, oh, do you know we did Cottage Place?
Yeah.
Right in your backyard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
So that was the second asset. And then the third thing that was kind of cool in our caucus discussion about chloride. And Ben and Gabby, please, on here too. One of the questions was during what I've learned from the regulatory group is that when you review people's permits, you always ask, what is your B&P maintenance? So apparently there are other groups, I don't remember if it's 9 Mile, right, Riley Purgatory, that actually ask what are your chloride winter permitting?
Yeah, chloride management plan.
Yeah, so whether or not it's where the heck do you store your snow?
Yeah.
And so as we go in and say, chloride did show up kind of high on that list of priorities, what are those things that we might be able to, just borrow quickly that makes sense, that someone else has already vetted and might help see if it makes sense for us to incorporate without adding a lot of burden. I think that's, there's no interest here in adding burden and paperwork, but just asking those earworm questions.
Yeah, I know Nicole already has that on her list they'll be starting a new rules TAP process after the beginning of the year. And that's one of the topics that they plan to address and talk about adding, because you're right. I think that's, well, if you were in the chloride section too with Erica, about Bassett's. So they were talking about how the limited liability at the Capitol isn't going anywhere. We need to shift our focus, and regulatory is one of them. And then also looking at licensing of applicators. I mean, that's would be the state level, but then at the local level, it's processed.
Yeah. And on that same topic, you sent out the link and suggestions if people were inclined to register and sit in on the smart salting, smart salt design webinars. And there's one on Monday. There's another one on the same date, January 8th.
Yeah.
I sat in on the one on Monday, and it was very good. I've looked at and tried to follow this, but it's really like moving along. It's being incorporated into the PCA stormwater design.
Yeah.
Their manual, and they've developed icons. A lot of the language is in place. So this is something, this whole concept around designing projects for winter, you know, not just think about, hey, stormwater flows, which are largely a summer thing, but also think about winter. And it seems to me like that the time is probably ripe to be moving in the same direction, and it's something we want to capture in the plan. And I was glad to see, don't remember exactly, but you just highlighted that Nicole and maybe Mary, you know, as well have been starting to talk about rules. So there are other people, other entities that are moving in that direction. It's not a big lift. Seems like there's probably room to build this into, you know, a regulatory framework that would ask those questions.
I'm gonna take slightly more negative tone. I think this is all great, but I don't think the regulations that Bassett Creek and others have put forward go far enough. They just ask for a plan on smart salting and where you store your winter salt. I can give you that plan in 5 minutes. That doesn't mean it's being done. So I'd want more teeth in it. Like, you do BMP checks, you do erosion control checks. If you don't keep up with them, we're gonna perform them like at the heights. I just think there needs to be a back end stick to the carrot.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it could be built into our maintenance plans that are recorded on the property that require inspection, and
Yep.
there are elements of it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, again, from Lewis, that we have the ability to regulate, but nobody is doing that.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that Bass Creek did it. I just don't think it takes that final step.
I agree. I think you know, being very modest in the approach, not very heavy.
Yeah, and I would just include more, like, we require, or the district requires, you know, who's your SWIP construction manager, who's your SWIP designer, who's the contractor that's in charge of maintenance. So it'd be along those lines, like, who's the maintenance lead, who's your smart salt applicator that we can get a hold of if things happen. Are they trained? Is there training? Not that we have to be the regulator of the training, but
yeah, that came up among some of the inspectors that went to the conferences. Like, well, there often is like people can't hire someone full time, so there's less inspection work in winter, but maybe that would fill that gap where people could capture more full time employees. So that's interesting too. And there was an interesting conversation at that talk about having occupational certification for salt appliers, and I thought that was really interesting. We require it for herbicide users, pesticide users, but not salt users. So that would be.
And the training has been out there for years and years.
Yeah, but optional and making it required would be. I found that really interesting.
And that particular session was packed. The next session, the design was not as busy.
As you think through, I mean, phenomenal set of topics that seem to be very prevalent at the conference. It was fascinating. You talked about partnerships being a big theme. Sounds like chloride was also a big theme. Anything else that stood out to others who attended?
How well Bar sings.
I do have that on. It was so good.
I would say for like being my first conference going to it was I really appreciate having the option to go, because I feel like now coming into the meetings I feel a little more confident in like some of my like internal thoughts and like questions, but also like some of the stuff that I learned throughout the week. So I really appreciate that a lot. I mean, to me, I thought there was a lot of really interesting topics, you know, between Douglas Fens, and even like saving Lily Lake, how they kind of drain that, the process of their sampling, kind of what they're doing with that whole thing. And then of course, you know, chloride, and then the low salt and farm management. I thought it was all very interesting. And, you know, I was looking over my notes this week, trying to like redigest it again. But there's a lot of really interesting points from it. So I just want to say thank you for letting me have the opportunity. And now I can feel a little more confident for sure coming in. So
That's fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah. Everybody needs that first year. That's all it is. Get it out
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Any interesting technologies that stood out to the group? That is definitely where I geek out. I
Yeah.
assume it's mostly similar.
A
Yeah,
lot of the same.
yeah.
Moliere was there again.
Yeah, cool.
No, I did not.
Your new tech.
Gentleman with the.
Yeah, I didn't see if it was the same. brush.
Yeah. It's good. Paige and Gareth, along with Forrest and from Capital Region, gave a presentation on our PEX program, our
Mhm.
public entity cashier program. That was well attended and lots of good questions and follow up on that as well. So,
And Joe and Pat gave a nice presentation.
yeah. So many of our staff, Mary, Joe, Pat, and
I gave one on BMP inspection, Joe and Pat on Killer Lake, and then Paige was the moderator all day for the staff technical day, and then Paige joined Gareth for the PEX program. Yeah.
That's great representation. Yes, it's really good.
And there is,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we were given our 50-year anniversary plaque as well as my administrator award, which I was very honored, and I really appreciate your support and your willingness to support us and our staff and all the work we do. So I was very surprised and very honored.
and we actually share part of the third one too.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
HOA.
Yeah, so the East Metro Water Education Program, the Angie Hong's program.
Yeah.
Was awarded a collaborative, because we all are members of that, for their HOA education. I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but it's their work on doing educational programming with HOAs in Washington counties or in our watersheds.
They knocked it out of the park. That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's really
it
cool.
it's great.
Who got the outstanding project?
Outstanding project.
Edina
Oh, yeah.
Arden Park.
Arden Park
Is it
project.
Arden?
Arden, yeah. Anytime. Yeah. It's Minnehaha
Minnehaha
Creek.
And City of Edina.
And program went to Angie Hong's.
Are we going to submit the Get Gritty
I
video?
think we should.
Well, I think through, because I wanted to add the topic in terms of the outreach that we've had with the community, both through collecting feedback, but also things like these videos are clearly having an impact. I can tell you, and I was saying this before the meeting, and I'll say it during the meeting, that I've laid grit down now. It's actually kind of a nice thing. And I've actually walked across other neighbors who've done it. It's just really, really cool. And so to get the views that it has gotten and the notoriety it's gotten, I'd like to see more of those projects. I think it's a great way of engaging. And it's setting the right tone, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
The Halloween one, I thought also set the right tone.
This is so great.
Yeah, I really like it. Love to see more. Keep going. That's what I'm thinking.
Anything you wanted to add, Lauren?
Yeah, it's been interesting to experiment with the YouTube ads function. So you can kind of see the preliminary just first week stats on there. Those have continued to surge forward. We have two completely different tones in terms of ads. So we have the one that you've seen on the social media posts, but we also have one that has a female narrator and has more of a kind of a family focused tone, and that one is outperforming the other one 2-1. So it's been interesting to see what appeals to different audiences, and how we can use YouTube as kind of a media source as a tool in the future. Obviously, we're getting a lot of media traction with this campaign, as you know, this is also the first time that we've sent out pitch emails instead of doing press releases, and that's something that I've learned through government communications networks is more effective in terms of getting reporters interested, and that seems to be the case as well. So we're trying to use a lot of these campaigns as sort of labs to do mini experiments and meet on a regular basis and look at our analytics and find out kind of the right mix. And I think we're getting there. We're seeing differences in terms of engagement, in terms of our followers, and that's definitely a team effort. So Jewel has been working really hard with me on that in terms of getting shorter length videos. I think that's the only challenge for the Minnesota watersheds is it's a minimum of 3 minutes for their night at the movies, and we see people drop off after a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So we just don't do a lot of longer form video content anymore. So that's something I'm gonna kind of send to Maddie as feedback in terms of future years. But yeah, we're really excited that it's gone well. As I said earlier, Ashley's done amazing work in terms of just working through like making sure that grit stays on the shelves, that there's communication with each one of these store managers in the corporate office, and we thought this might be successful, and it's absolutely outperformed our expectations in terms of that. So it's been cool.
It's nice we saw it even in the newspaper. So Pioneer Press, it's kind of even outweighing the jellyfish.
I like that you're bucking the trend. Short form videos is the way to go. I think that's how you capture specifically the audience who is going to live with some of the choices that we are making. So I like it a lot. Compliments. Moving forward, 10A.
One more board, or two things.
Well, SDI.
Oh, yes. Mary has an announcement.
Yes, so Ramsey-Washington, we nominated the Roosevelt Homes project for an award at the MICA conference, which is the Minnesota Erosion Control Association conference, and it won. So that's really exciting. So yeah, we'll be getting the Environmental Excellence Award at the MICA conference, which is only one of like 3 I think they give out annually. So that's very exciting. Cooper, Paige, Kendra, and I are for sure attending. It'll be on Wednesday, January 28th, that they're giving the award over the lunch hour. It's in Mankato this year. Anyone's certainly welcome to sign up and attend that day if you'd like to see the award being accepted. I know Mankato's a little bit farther away than maybe the conference, but also in Plymouth, so a little farther. But yeah, super exciting. I want to share that with you guys. Had a lot of great feedback about the project, so I think that's really exciting. The other update for you all is we're re-engaging with Strategic Diversity Initiatives, who is our diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant. We kind of put that work on pause as we worked with Zan Associates just to not try to tackle too much at once. But now we've re-engaged with them to work on our strategic equity plan, which is its own standalone plan of how are we going to incorporate this work into all the things we do here. I think it will mirror nicely with the watershed management plan. But all that to say, just to let you know that we're working on creating some upcoming workshops with staff, board, and community leaders. So we're expecting those in late January. So we're going to try to like pick, times that would work as best they can for you guys. Certainly if you can't attend, we're going to record them, and we'll have some sort of form you can fill out if you're not able to attend. But we're going to try to aim to pick some times of the day that would be more, people would be more available in the evening sessions. Yeah.
So more to come on both of those.
More to come on both of those. I can send information if you're interested in attending MICA. I can share you information at the conference. It's a Wednesday, Thursday conference. You can attend one or both days. And then I'll send you some information for SDI Strategic Equity Plan workshops once we kind of settle in some dates and times with that consultant.
Yeah, I'd love to see you send it to the board. Sounds great.
Very amazing.
Cool. Yeah. Impressive crew, guys. Okay. 10A.
Yeah, so this is an informational item. No presentation for it, but if you have any questions or comments, thoughts on this potential technology, you maybe have seen some discussion around it. Well, around biochar for sure. Minneapolis system is getting up and running, and then now this with Great River Green.
Yeah, Washington County is putting one in, I think, 2027.
Oh,
A facility to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first time we put information about biochar into the packet, which was, I don't know, a year plus ago, one of the caveats was, well, it's not all created equal, its sources are not clear, but it's really changing quickly. So that's exciting. There's new opportunities for sourcing.
Yeah, I think what happened was they were having difficulty getting rid of the wood waste.
Yeah, it's an opportunity.
With Emerald Ash.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me because this technology is super old.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like for
Yeah.
filtration
Yep.
and everything.
But to use it.
I love seeing it in this way. I was really interested in the alternate to salts and sand. So this could be grit, is what I gathered.
Well, and that I think that's something Great River Grading is sort of
Trying to figure
kicking
it out.
around. So stay tuned on that. I don't know that we should be taking the Get Gritty campaign offline and going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Definitely just interesting that this topic continues to evolve. So
Yeah, it could be recomposted or mixed in.
There's so many applications for it. It's
Mhm.
incredible. I was blown away by the 20 to 200, to 300 gallons of water to quench. That's a little concerning.
It's
It's a lot of liquid.
Yep. One of the presentations at the Minnesota Watersheds Conference was talking about biochar as a filter amendment. And that was nice to see. We've kind of been tracking that. And one of the concerns that I have had in the past was whether biochar as a soil amendment or as a filter amendment would actually leach phosphorus, or if it would compromise the point of a water quality filter. But what I saw was that while it doesn't necessarily remove phosphorus, it also doesn't necessarily lower it. And the results, it seems fairly consistent that the results for E. coli reduction are pretty compelling. So I think that's something also that's interesting.
I was reading down on the project proposals and some of the creeks and things like that. It'd be interesting if there was an experiment that we could potentially look at.
There are a couple creeks impaired for E. coli.
That's kind of what I was recalling.
Fish Creek in particular, and yep. So
Yeah, Coon Creek has really been, Watershed District has been at the forefront of this issue. I mean, for probably 15 years now, they've been talking or using, experimenting, researching.
Yeah.
And that's who gave the presentation.
This is super cool.
Yeah.
Is there any opportunity with this particular option the Great River Greening is using? Recognizing what you said, Aaron, about not all biochar maybe
Yeah.
high quality.
Yeah.
But is there any opportunity to partner with them or get access to this? Use it a couple times and get some experience with it?
Yeah, I think you can rent the kiln itself. I know that Great River Greening also does a lot of partnering with a lot of entities, so they've got a pretty flexible business model. So they're often a partner to watershed districts. I think the next time that there is a project like a cottage place wetland restoration, it would be interesting to engage something like this to incorporate on the site, or even to then create filtration media that then we could monitor. So that's how my wheels are turning on it. I think there's definitely some opportunities. Paul just chimed in, or he just turned his video on.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, really interesting stuff on the biochar. Just thought I'd let everybody know that we're potentially partnering with the county on a small biochar kiln that's being constructed right now.
Great.
It would be a pretty small scale one, but we're willing to give it a shot, and we're thinking that we would house it over at the county parks area over there, kind of in the fairgrounds area. I think Justin Townsend has some other ideas for it too. So, but I believe it's being constructed right now and should have some more updates on that soon.
So not portable like Great
It's
River Greening.
mobile. It's similar to the Great River Greenings one.
It is a portable. Yep, you move it where you want it, put it together, use it, take it apart.
We look forward to some of the issues and maybe some of the actions that we take with the watershed management plan using naturally based mechanisms. Seems like it would be a huge, it will fit within whatever mission we'll end up coming with. Definitely fits within our current mission. So I love this. Thank you for the update.
Welcome.
Other questions, comments? Biochar everywhere. Okay, administrative report. Your turn.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. We've had a pretty good discussion already about the Minnesota watershed. So if there's anything else you want to add to that, welcome to. Otherwise, I've updated the action log with the
Thank you for that.
items, and I can look at the things that Stephanie has mentioned as well, and at how those fit in. A couple staff anniversaries. Otherwise, our holiday gathering, I believe you all received an invite for that. Thursday the 18th at 11:30. We're having tamales and a wide variety of other things. We've had a lot of food. So hope that summer all of you can attend.
Yeah, 5 years for Kyle. That's incredible. And
Yeah.
he's not on, so thank him.
Yeah, I will.
It does also look like Dave is on. I was going to make a joke, but he's not there. So, oh no, dude, he is there.
He's there. You can make the joke.
17 years. I have no idea why he looks so old. That's what I'm saying.
And he was like, what, a 3-year intern? So it's been like.
I was at the year. Yeah, that's correct.
Some of us, it takes longer to graduate, my friend. Okay, I'm done. Thank you for adding to the action list. I really appreciate it. The wetland buffer.
Yeah.
Stephanie had some really interesting points. I'd love to see for the regulatory one. I know we have wetland regulations. I assume through the process that Nicole engages with the TAC, we'll find that out. So I don't think it needs to be added to the actions because I don't think it'll come.
And I forget it, we were supposed to address Dave now as the king of grime or?
Oh, yeah. Grime bot. Yeah, so Gareth, was during the PEC presentation, Partners in Grime was the.
Partners in Grime?
Was the title of the presentation.
A lot of puns.
Just when they were on the
That's why I don't attend stuff like that. No, I kid. I take flatter. I think it's good stuff. It's good humor. I like it.
Lindsay, did you have your hand up too?
I was gonna ask you, Dave, 17 years, how many hats is that?
One hat.
At least on a work wise, at least 4 or 5. On a personal note, probably 1 a year. So let's go with about 20.
One.
Poor Dave, he's not gonna log in. Is he?
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Out of love. Oh.
Lindsay has her hand up too. Lindsay, did you have something you wanted to add?
Oh, I was just gonna say Kyle's nice and warm in Arizona. He's down in Phoenix right now.
Celebrating his anniversary.
Right.
Tell him we want the food report when he gets back.
Yeah. You always get it.
Oh, great update. Let's transition to project and program status. Kind of as we go, I'll just poke at 1 or 2, and if you have one before me, let me know. I'm starting with A. Anybody have anything? I'm really interested in learning more about what the deliverable is. I know it's going to staff. I appreciate that. Definitely should go there first, but I would really like to see that as it comes.
I think we're anticipating sharing that with you next month. So
Great. Yeah. That's really good.
And did I see that this includes the landfall?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Okay. And it was the landfall representatives were at the dinner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very tall person.
Yeah.
I know him.
Yeah. Yes.
My next question is on O. Any questions prior to that? Okay. With we've had conversations about data. We've had conversations about some of the work y'all are doing and forward thinking you're doing in this. It wasn't clear. I saw that 2025 scope for this task is going to be complete after the implementation of testing. Just knowing that this is a fast moving area and I think, really important to automation. Is that going to come to the board in 2026?
I'm not sure what, I mean, it can, you'll definitely get updates. I'm not sure how.
Let me explain myself. Yeah, so like implementation and testing seems to imply that we've ingested the data. We have a tool that could drive automation.
Yeah.
If it's not at that stage, then yeah, we don't need to see it. That's how I internalize it.
Yeah. We can get some clarification on what that looks like for the end of this year. I mean, it certainly doesn't, the work doesn't stop.
Yeah.
That particular scope to get to that point, and then over this next season, we would be testing through implementation.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I was asking.
And we can report, we'll definitely report back.
I assume you would, and if it's just in here, or maybe there's others who are maybe would have a fascination in how that goes, I'd love maybe to engage offline, just to read.
You mean just sort of understanding, like, okay, now what do we have? Like, what's our capability?
Yeah, because I think this is some of the first forays into really automating these types of things. So it's super fascinating. It's definitely good to have more along the ride.
Yeah. Good.
Great job. Are we in the process? It's going to, I jumped to W. Natural resources for Paul. Sounds like this cohort of interns and the cohorts that you guys recruit just keep getting better and better and better. I assume you're on the lookout for new interns in the spring or summertime. When's the next time point where you get some additional help?
Yeah, so that process will be starting here again soon, and the postings will be out here in another month or two. Yeah, really good team that we had this year. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. Two of our interns, Nick and Sally, had a lot of experience. And I keep crossing my fingers that they'll find something permanent, because they're really great, and it's kind of tough out there right now. So yeah, those are just some thoughts, and I don't know if you had a specific question, Val, that
I mean, I know you're complimenting the interns as they come through. I think a lot of it comes to the good projects that you guys provide. It just seems like they had a big impact, and so in prior ones, it wasn't always mentioned twice that interns were leaving. There were two sections that mentioned it, which kind of implies that they had a really powerful impact. So I just want to compliment you guys on the projects and the way that you're developing this cohort. So
yeah, we try not to make them full-time weed pullers. We try to give them other opportunities to do a lot of career development, and they really enjoy getting out with the other programs, and they really liked getting out with Mary and permitting and Kendra. So that's something we've already talked about, is maybe we can expand that a little bit and do more job shadowing in the other programs.
And if you're willing, I'd love to see the natural resources plan book.
Yeah, it's on the back table back there. It's a work in progress, but it's a start. So
I like it.
Yeah, it's a kind of a fun project too that can carry through each year.
I was gonna say, I mean, given your report on all the seed that was collected, the burning that was done just 3 weeks ago, and several of the other tasks, you may have to keep your interns either on longer or bring them on sooner, because there's almost year-round work that you guys are doing a lot.
yeah, yep. It's like Tina says, we wish we could hire everybody on full-time forever, but
yeah, it's a balance to make sure we have enough for them to do. But
and we did encourage all of them to come back. You know, I served as an intern for 2 years, and Pat did the same, and so when they hit the ground running, and
There's your winter salt enforcement.
Yeah.
Right?
It is interesting. I don't know what Mary does when how she letters them up when she takes them, but now like Cooper,
Birds?
yeah, she's giving them all the regulatory stuff. She must feed them good or something. But Cooper, who is our communications and engagement intern, is going to be doing regulatory inspections
And stewardship.
and stewardship grant inspections this next season. So he's sticking.
And has already started helping with that as communications work slowed down this past fall. So he already dipped his toes in it. It's just that he likes regulatory work. So I know that.
We had talked about this beforehand. I really do think the Get Gritty campaign and the partnerships with companies was a unique positioning for this particular one that I want to emphasize, because I think, we look at outreach to individual constituents. There's a lot of meaningful work there, but companies drive a lot of these behaviors as well, and then have as much of an impact. I just thought this was great. The person I talked to at Fratellone, which I visited probably every week because I'm not great at hardware stuff, we talk often and couldn't say enough about it. Really. Good. Any further comments or questions? The Watershed Excellence Awards, the first year I did it, fantastic. It was heartwarming. So I encourage other people to come next time if they go. It kind of looks like stuff you and then Mark are staples there. you have some friends there. It's really cool to watch. I'm gonna try to become that. So going to number 13, manager comments and next month's meeting. I just it's a point of pride to be part of this particular organization. The recognitions that you're getting, I just keep it up. The people that they're attracting. The organization's grown over the time that I've been able to be part of it. Just the impact has just been phenomenal. So just hear another award coming our way for it's really meaningful, both equity and improvements. It's just great to hear. So keep it up. I'm excited about 2026.
Yeah, I guess it'll be the new year.
Yeah. Oh, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.